Jamie, excited to be here today to talk to you about people who come looking for our services and kind of the profiles of, different types of people that do. And I think today uh, it would be really good to talk about Americans who are coming to us looking for our services and they're considering moving outside of the US, whether it's to Europe, usually it's to Europe, but kind of that profile of a person and their motivations.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, oftentimes it's people who are thinking about retiring overseas, can be Europe or any other geographical area. And there's a lot of considerations that come with that. There's the tax considerations, there's considerations about real estate, like having real estate in the US, possibly purchasing real estate in a new place. And with that also comes the consideration, where do I want to keep my money? If you live in a country where the like fiat currency isn't the US dollar, that brings on additional considerations. So a lot of people who are thinking about moving overseas for whatever reason, they are talking to us because they think it's a good opportunity, that point in their life, to also diversify their wealth. And I agree with that. I think it makes a lot of sense when you're thinking about moving to another country to also rethink your finances and make sure that everything's structured efficiently and structured in a way that serves your situation. So you need to talk to people who are well versed in cross-border wealth management, cross-border tax planning, cross-border financial planning, and we don't offer all those services ourselves. We do have a quite a solid network of people who offer complementary services to what we do, but we can certainly help setting up like a sort of safe nest egg outside of the US, but maybe also outside of the country that you are residing in, because it certainly makes sense to have some banking relationships in the country of your residence. It might also make sense to keep some assets in the US, depending on your relations to the country, how often you go back, if you still have family and real estate there, etc. But it might also make sense to have a third jurisdiction like Switzerland or Liechtenstein to just keep a little bit or like a part of your wealth in a neutral, safe, stable country with a safe haven currency like the Swiss franc. So if you're thinking about retiring outside of the US, definitely makes sense to think about whether or not you also want to diversify your wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in general, when you see that kind of move, Americans are so used to being able to pick up and move states with essentially no problems. That is one of the cool experiments of the United States. Moving across uh, the ocean or moving into other countries comes with a lot more challenging tasks to navigate. And one of those is currency differences, and so all of that, ebbing and flowing can even start the process of, okay, maybe it's a 5-10 year plan. Maybe you're 40 years old thinking you want to retire, and maybe it's important to start thinking about that now. And what are the considerations? As you mentioned, is it tax planning? Is it estate planning? How do I make sure I'm structured correctly in the foreign jurisdiction? And now and having a Swiss bank account allows you to get a really good picture into the how currencies interact abroad. And so it can even maybe be good first step of dipping your toe in the water, of starting to understand some of these complex things that are going to need to be considered. And as you mentioned, always working with the right professionals, finding those people, reaching out to people like us and saying, hey, I have this idea. What kind of professionals do I need? And, we can help work and point them in the right direction. Thank you so much, Jamie. Looking forward to the next one.